general impression of whatever.
You know, what I told them in the locker room is, I said this. I mean, 69 points should be enough to win a basketball game. And, we've talked about defense, and we struggle guarding. We do. And, we let one kid just go for 30. We've got to get better. We go through every single one of their plays and how to defend them. And they didn't run anything new. But we didn't talk on back screens. We didn't talk on up screens. We didn't help when we were supposed to. And, we allowed 75 points. Then we left 12 points on the free throw line. And we lose by 6. And, it's just not good enough. Again, everybody's disappointed and upset and, whatever else you want to do. But we've got to get better. And we've got to get better at the defensive end. And until we do that, it's going to be the same story in the locker room. And I told them that. I said, I told them not to worry, because I'm the one that's going to get the criticism. And I'm going to. It'll be on me. And, as a collective team, we win and lose. It's not one or two players. And those kids are good kids. And they are fun to coach. But they've got to get better at doing the things that we ask them to do. Or it's going to be the same all year in the locker room. We've got 10 games left, plus a conference tournament. And, these get to you a little bit because we're a good team, we feel. We're a team that we think can beat some teams in this conference. But, again, talk is cheap. And until, you beat some of those teams, it doesn't matter.
Is that the most frustrating? Because you know how good your team is.
Yeah.
And it's just a matter of going out there and executing.
Yeah, and it is, and especially, like I said, on the defensive end. 15 turnovers, it's not ideal, but it's not terrible. 18 assists. But, you give up 36 points in the paint. Most of that was dribble drive stuff. And then we gave up too many second chance points, 11-8. Fast break points, 18-5. All that stuff is defensive stuff. It's boxing out. It's guarding. It's, getting back. Bench points we did pretty well. Points off turnovers we did pretty well. I have a lot of credit for Bria coming in a tough situation, hitting 3 great shots. That was terrific. And that's tough to go in there. It's like a pinch hitter. You've sat the whole 9 innings and bottom of the 9th with 2 outs. You have to get out there and get a hit. And Bria hit one out of the park. She really did. So I give her a lot of credit. But free throw shooting, and then just, again, we've got players who can score that are going 2 for 8. Bryce had a great game. Sarah again, 3 for 11. They're better, and they know they're better than that, and they will be better. And they're good players, and they're good shooters. And I'm going to still believe in them until they leave or, they graduate or whatever. Yeah, I believe in those two a great deal. So, it is frustrating because we know how good we are. But we're just not a very good defensive team right now.
Do you feel that has to deal with any of maybe being tired, having tired legs or anything like that, getting back on the defensive side of the ball?
It could. I play Sarah and Tish a lot of minutes, and Sarah had 31. Bryce had 35, and she's been a little bit sick. Tish had 30, and then we got to put freshmen in. And they do well. Brooke and Alex are learning, and they're getting better. Yeah, like I said, I praise Bria. She's getting a little bit better on defense, but to hit 3 threes, it's a great thing. And, we some other players came in and did some good things, but, it's one of those things where, it's like I told them in the locker room, you guys have to get better. Our defense has started from the beginning. We just don't talk very well. And, as much as we try and as much as we get in there, that's got to come from our leaders. It's got to come. But you score 69 points, and that should be good enough to win. That should be good enough to win. And we did a nice job, even though we shot 39%. We shot 42 from the 3. You shoot 60% from the free throw line. You leave 12 points on the table. And you lose by 6. And that comes back to haunt you.
Sarah and Tisha sat the last few minutes. Did you just answer that pretty much? Was that why? Were they just?
They just weren't hitting shots, and there's at some point or another, they probably were tired a little bit. They played a lot of minutes, brought Alex and Bria off the bench. Alex got behind the defense a little bit. She got to the line, and she'll make them. She'll get them the next time. But then, Bria comes in and goes 3 for 4 from the 3. So you got to try to set her up a little bit. Just trying to set her and Diva up because Diva's a very good 3-point shooter. And Diva played well. I mean, she went 3 for 5 and did some good things. But I mean, as positive as I can come with some of the kids that had some positives, our defense is just not very good right now.
As far as the last 30 points, he's obviously hard to stay in front of. Was the help just not getting there in time? Or?
Well, it was both, and that's a great question. The help sometimes wasn't there in time, but she was going back to the left every time. And what we did was she would give a little fake to the right, and then we'd either jump or overrun to the right, and then she'd just go right back to the left. And then she got to the rim quite a bit. She's a nice player, and she's scored like that, all year long. She has. But we just didn't have an answer for her because, you look at everybody else, and, the scoring was like us. So you take away 10 of her points, and you make it a game. And, we hit 8 more free throws. Instead of going 18 for 30, you go, maybe 27 for 30. They certainly did 22 for 26. They only missed 4. So there's no reason why we can't make free throws. And we just didn't do it.
You've talked about not being a three-point shooting team yet. The past couple games, you guys have been shooting a lot more from downtown. Are teams just opening that up?
Well, I mean, and again, you have to have the right players to shoot that. Bryce is feeling really confident at the 3, and she shot the ball really well today. And she has been. Other than Bryce, really from the 3, Bria's coming in, and Bria's a shooter. Defensively, she has to get a little bit better, but she will. But in terms of our people just going out and hitting threes, we struggle a little bit. Now, I think Bryce can hit it every time, so she's got the green light from there, big time. And, and Bria's a 3-point shooter, so Bria's going to have the green light shooting behind the arc. The other ones, if they're not in rhythm and they're not making the first couple, like Sarah was 1 for 5, and we got to find another avenue or another, off a ball screen, getting her to the basket, maybe get in from 15, 18 feet around there, and get some of those. And like I said, we have players that can hit the 3. Right now, in terms of just those flat-out shooters, like a Caroline Durbin, a Lauren Taylor. Bryce has proven that she can hit that, and so has Bria. But other than that, we struggle a little bit finding people to hit the 3.
They played like an extended 2-3, and
yeah.
It in 2-3. Did that bother you?
Well, Fresno State did the same thing against us. Colorado State's done that. I mean, we've seen it many times. I don't think we attacked from the top as well as we should have. So we let them play passing lanes. And then I don't think we attacked gaps. The diagonal pass to the post was wide open, and we missed it several times. So points in the paint should have been a little bit better, and their points in the paint were just dribble drives, I think. I'll have to go back and watch tape. But we had Diva and Khadijah, especially the last 3 or 4 minutes, open on those diagonal passes, and we just didn't see them. And that was one of our emphases to take a look. But those top guards didn't see him, and then we kept playing perimeter ball instead of penetrating gaps, either by passing or, with a dribble penetration. So, we were down 14 at one point, and then we cut it. And, again, I mean, it's frustrating. It is. But at the same time, I really do like coaching these kids. And I think we've got a good group, and I think we got a good group of kids. So, they're not going to give up on themselves. We're certainly not going to give up on them, and we just got to get better. We have to get better, and I believe we will. I believe we will. All right. Thanks, you guys.